There is one who could unite them. One who could reclaim the throne of Gondor.
He turned from that path a long time ago. He has chosen exile. They will answer to the King of Gondor. Andúril, flame of the west, forged from the shards of Narsil. Put aside the ranger. Become who you are born to be.
Oh man, I still hate that line. I hate it. I hate it so much. When I saw that in the movies, I couldn't stand that they waited this long to make him the king. And that's what we're talking about. Aragorn, the reluctant king. And as we saw from the very beginning of those clips that I pulled, he was made to not want the kingdom, right? And this is where in the beginning in the Fellowship of the Ring, when Gandalf is talking to Elrond, he says to him, Elrond says to Frodo, "There's no strength left in men," right? They're a poor and broken people, right, scattered, and I can't remember exactly what he says. And so Elrond, who raised Aragorn, who believed in Aragorn, is this. Oh, we'll get to Elrond. I guess I can't concentrate on Elrond. But Aragorn is reluctant, right? And in the books, he knows who he is, and he leaves Rivendell with Andúril. He doesn't wait until he's right before he heads into the Dunharrow. Thank you. Yes. Okay. So he's not reluctant, and I'm going to read you a couple quotes from that Tolkien wrote in Fellowship of the Ring, and this is in Rivendell at the Council of Elrond, I believe. Maybe it's right before. He writes this: "He is Aragorn, son of Arathorn," said Elrond, "and he's descended through many fathers from Isildur, Elendil's son of Minas Ithil. He is the chief of the Dúnedain in the north, and few are now left of that folk." So he immediately says he is descended through many fathers from Isildur, Elendil's son, right? He's the king, is what he's saying by pointing that out. And then when Aragorn is looking at Boromir, Tolkien writes this: "Aragorn smiled at him. Then he turned to Boromir again. 'For my part, I forgive your doubt,' he said. 'Little do I resemble the figures of Elendil and Isildur as they stand carven in their majesty in the halls of Denethor. I am but the heir of Isildur, not Isildur himself. I have had a hard life, and along the leagues that lie between here and Gondor are a small part in the count of my journeys. I have crossed many mountains and many rivers and trodden many plains, even to the far countries of Rhûn and Harad, where the stars are strange.' But he here too says, 'I am the heir of Isildur,' not Isildur himself, but still the heir. And then looking at the Argonath, Tolkien writes, 'Fear not,' Aragorn said. 'Long have I desired to look upon the likenesses of Isildur and Anarion, my sires of old. Under their shadow, Elisar, the Elfstone of Arathorn of the house of Valendil, Isildur's son, heir of Elendil, has naught to dread.'" So right there, he's going through the whole litany of Elisar, the Elfstone, son of Arathorn of the house of Valendil, Isildur's son. Right? That's who he is, heir of Elendil. He has nothing to fear because that's where he's going. So he knows he's going to be the king. He is a driven person to ascend the throne because he knows this is the point. And so that's why Andúril is forged before they leave Rivendell.
Right.
Woo, that was a lot.
Okay, so those are some great quotes. I love the one about the Argonath because it shows that Aragorn is embracing his royal lineage. There is no doubt in him. The one quote that we did not pick up from the movie, which Aragorn says that the same weakness is in him.
Oh, good point. I should have brought that up.
But it's okay. Everyone knows it or can look it up. Aragorn himself doubts in the movies. Aragorn doubts his own worthiness because Isildur failed in the face of the ring's temptation. So Aragorn says that's a weakness in men, and Elrond echoes that to in his conversation with Arwen in the movies. So this is a major change. Unlike some of the previous ones we've been covering, this is a massive change. Because it speaks to the motivation. I mean, the name of the book, Return of the King, that's about Aragorn. So he is a primary figure in Tolkien's in this story that Tolkien is telling, and he is not reluctant. He is neither reluctant nor is he scared of his own lineage. He is proud of his lineage, as the quotes you made showed. I would add a couple things from the appendices. Aragorn has been preparing for this return for a long time. He had made a show in Gondor years before, preparing them to accept him. They even built a statue to him, Thorongil, under the name of Thorongil. And he fought against the Corsairs of Umbar, and he made himself like he was doing the work of a king. And to the people of Gondor at that time, he was a hero because it wasn't the right time to declare who he was and his full lineage. But at the time of the tale of the ring, the War of the Ring, it was the right time, and he embraces it. As you mentioned, he and Elrond are of one mind. There's no disagreement. Elrond has Narsil reforged into Anduril before they leave Rivendell. Aragorn, and then the instead of having Elrond show up with Anduril, which is the shot you show here, what really happened was on the way back from Isengard with the Rohirrim, with King Theoden, they are overtaken by a band of rangers. Aragorn's own kinfolk, who are there, all grim men and very impressive to the people, even to the warriors of the Rohirrim. So the Rangers of the North come, and they come bearing a standard, which we don't know is a standard yet until after the Paths of the Dead. But they come bearing a standard which has been in the works. Aragorn and Arwen have been engaged; they've been betrothed. At the time of when it's not actually Elrond, it's his sons Elladan and Elrohir that come bearing the standard. Elrond never leaves Rivendell during the book, but they come bearing the standard. This is a standard that has been woven by his betrothed for nearly 40 years, for 38 years since their betrothal. She's been weaving with mithril, gold, and gems this standard, which is the combined standard of Gondor and the markings of the House of Elendil, showing his lineage. And so this has been 40 years in the making, even from Arwen's perspective. And so this is well planned out. This is the path. It's the time of fulfillment of the prophecy, which is why in Dunharrow he goes into.
And isn't it funny that it's a great point you bring up, that in the movies it's Arwen that pushes her father to reforge Narsil into Anduril. In the books, she's been doing it, like you said, for 30 years. And this is what she said to this is what she had Halbarad say to Aragorn, that she sends these words for you. The days are now short. Either our hope cometh or all hopes end. Therefore I send thee what I have made for thee. Farewell, Elfstone. So she's like, this is your destiny. It's all on you, man. You've got to take it all. And so, yeah, bigger, like, there's a hint of where he's going to, like, you don't know in a way because of who he is and who he's portrayed as he's not kingly, right? You don't meet him as the kingly king. Right. But once he has a standard, once he starts leading men, right, you start seeing that transformation. So to say, okay, I'm getting into this stuff. So to say that he doesn't transform in the books, I think is unstudied. But there's no sign of the weakness. He's not scared of his lineage. Right. The question is it the right time? And as the quote from Arwen when she gives him the standard she's been working on for decades, and also his own musing when he references the fact that he and Elrond spoke of him being the fulfillment of the prophecy is at the Paths of the Dead, and that's why his remembering of that and his discussion with Elladan and Elrohir is what makes him take the final step to go into the Paths of the Dead. He's embracing his lineage, and he's embraced it already. The question is just for him, Ben, in the books, when is the right time? Is it now? And the answer is yes. Now is the right time. Now it's time to come as the king, to return as the king to Gondor via the Paths of the Dead. And so this is it lore friendly? It is so lore unfriendly that if I could have two yeses, two no's, I would put two no's in there. How about H and hell no? I was trying to add, it just doesn't. Big fonts, man. So we'll say it's no. This is the opposite of lore friendly. No exclamation point. There we go. That'll be you get 3. It is not friendly at all. This is one of those changes where I was just. This is not just lore unfriendly. This is lore opposite. This is opposite of lore. I remember seeing Return of the King, and I thought I had gotten over my dislike of how they had changed things by that point. I'd seen the movies enough. I'd be like, okay, I'm accepting the movies for what they are. But when Elrond comes in and says, "Be the king you were meant to be," it's like, he knows that already. He's supposed to have known that, and it's not supposed to be something thrust on him by Elrond and Arwen.
Yeah, his beta male speech to Arwen about how the same weakness lies in him. That to me was the worst. That was when I was like banging on the arms of the
Should have brought that one up
of
too.
the seat in the theater.
This is the problem with some of these changes. There would be too many clips to pull. I'd be like knocked down off YouTube. They'd be like, you can't post that, guys.
All right, so we're of one mind on that one.
Definitely lore friendly. I don't think we can do like an exclamation point in my spreadsheet here of all of our different changes. So.
That's all right.
Okay. Does the change make for better cinema?
Hell no.
No. I mean, I think we're both of the same mind here. This is where these big changes were always going to be in the same boat, I think. Yeah, no, it doesn't.
Making Aragorn weak does not. Now I heard something about that, about how he like Jackson wanted to make sure there was some tension, and he thought
gotta
that
have
was
a character arc. Gotta have a character arc.
Yep, and the arc. And I'm just that doesn't, to my mind, that doesn't make better cinema. Making Aragorn weak. Aragorn is the epic hero, the returning king. The cool thing about Lord of the Rings is that Tolkien shows his literary chops by giving us about 4 heroes instead of 4 different types of hero in the movie. But Aragorn fulfills the epic hero, the Beowulf character to the fullest, more than any other of the heroes. I think Gandalf can be argued to be a hero. Sam and Frodo can each be argued to be a hero of different types as well. But this is not better cinema. This is worse cinema.
No, and I think it goes to what we talked about in a previous episode, where Jackson feels like every character has to have some sort of an arc, and it's sort of like he thrusts it on them whether they need it or not. So Faramir had to have that character arc, even though he's a tertiary character.
Yeah.
Even Arwen had to have a character arc. I mean, he wanted to make her a battle babe too, but that didn't work out, thankfully.
Battle babe.
All right, let's go to the last question. How much, okay, on a scale of 1 to 5, not 0 to 5, Michael, 1 to 5, how much do you like the change?
0.5, which rounds up to 1. So yeah.
We're both, how low can you go?
How much do I like the change? Is it the lowest possible? Actually, I won't say it's a 1.0. That's okay. I will reserve that for a few others.
Yeah.
I'll give it a 1.2 because I understand and where he's coming from on that. And it does give it a cinematic arc. It's just the wrong arc. And so I'll give it a 1.2. Yeah. It's bad.
Yeah. I think if his change would have been one of the only changes they made, like if they would have changed him and not changed, say, Faramir, or changed Merry, or changed Arwen, right? If they wouldn't have made all these changes, I would probably be less aggressive in my dislike of this. So I'm going to try and siphon that off and say, as just this one change, I'm going to go a little bit higher than you and say it's not the worst, because I understand the need to make a character arc for a primary character, and making him reluctant, okay, is not the character arc that I wanted to see, but it's not the worst thing in the world either. They could have made it even worse, and like if he truly fought against being king and ran away and then decided to come back, like if they would have done that.
Yeah. For me, it's just so visceral because Aragorn is the true epic hero, and this is an epic, and I love epic heroism so much that change to make him weak. That's why I went so low. I agree with you. It isn't. I can think of worse changes. Faramir's, for example. Yeah. Spoiler alert. In 3 months or so, when we get to Faramir, he's going to be a 1.0. I'm telling you that already, because that's the worst. But
yeah, it's not going to be 3 months, man.
Okay, whatever.
9 months, 10 months.
Okay.
All right. So 1.2. This is definitely our lowest one. So there you have it. That's by far the worst change made so far that we've discussed to Lord of the Rings. One that is throughout the entire books. This is not just like removing a character. This is actually changing his base motivations and making him into something that was not what Tolkien wrote.
He was a lesser man, and in a big way. So I don't like it.
Well put.